Well, hello there. As you can see, I'm just playing some Flappy Bird. It's one of the many progressive web applications on the network these days, and it's also one of my favorite. As you can see, there's many other progressive web applications on this site. This site provides you with many different apps which will allow you to cache this content using service workers so you can browse this later offline. All you have to do is either bookmark it or save it to your desktop so you can easily access this URL in the future. A quick demo of how Service Workers works is whenever you go to your application developer tools and you go over here to application and then you click on Service Workers. Right here, this is your Service Workers for PWA Rocks, this page. As you can see, the Service Workers running and activated. This is the JavaScript file that runs this page and holds all the content. And this is the client. As you can see, I'm browsing this offline. As of right now, I'm on airplane mode and the Wi-Fi is turned off. If I go to this link, I can see Flappy Bird. Well, I can go to others, such as 2048. I can play this. As long as you've already cached the content and viewed the game, you'll be able to go to that site. See, I can see that I'm currently browsing this offline. So for the next part of this video, we're going to learn how to build progressive web applications. Progressive web apps have to be fast and installable, which means that they have to work online, offline, and on very good or very poor connection speeds. So in order for this to be done, we have to cache the app shell using service workers, which will allow the application to always be available and load quickly and reliably. So when registering and installing service workers to cache content and the user interface of an application, this is considered a progressive enhancement that will only work on supported browsers. So the first step to register a service worker and make this application here work offline is to register a service worker. So we'll go to our application JavaScript file, and first we need to check to see if the browser supports the service worker. So right here, this checks to see if the browser will support the service worker, and then it's going to register the service worker JavaScript file. And for this example, our service worker is called the service worker JavaScript file. So inside this, we have our different cache names, and these cache names are used to differentiate the different versions if anything were to update on the application shell. So right here, we have our files that will need to be cached in the service worker. So we have our HTML page, our JavaScript page, our style sheet page, and all the images for the weather. Next, we're going to install the service worker and populate all the assets necessary to load the app shell. So right here, we're installing the service worker. We're going to open up the cache object and provide a cache name. And right here, it's just showing to the console that we're caching the app shell. And right here, we're getting all the files that we need to cache. We're just returning them. So next, this event here, it's going to run only whenever the service worker starts up. So whenever you load up a page, this will run. So we're going to check the key of the cache name, and if any of these keys don't match here, then we're going to remove the old cache and we're basically just going to update the application. So another important step to learn whenever you are making a web application is to understand how to debug and view your service workers. So whenever you go to your application, you can go to inspect, And up here we can go to our application and view our service workers. And right here it just shows that we have a service worker running for this Weather Progressive Web App and that it's running correctly. So if a service worker was cached correctly, we will get this status code that it's activated and running. Right here under our source, it's going to show our JavaScript file for our service worker, which was explained a little bit earlier in the video. So let's see how this works. We're viewing it offline, and all this information here was previous cached information using the service worker. And all this information is found on the web just using an XML page. So whenever I do get internet, we'll turn it back on, and whenever it connects, I will refresh the page, and then we're gonna see how the page changes. So we'll reload the page, and as you can see, all our information updated because the content previously cached using the service worker wasn't the most recent version of content.